Let's rock it! I don't have an astromorpher. But anyway, I was playing with my Tigerzord recently, and it made me have a massive desire for an actually properly articulated Megazord that transforms. And then I realized, oh yeah, ZAP exists. So this is the ZAP Astro Megazord. And I feel like highlighting its box. So you got a nice grid pattern on here, on the front cover, which is a sleeve. And on the back is all the accessories. I just ripped it. It's just a tiny rip. That'll be fine. But on the back is all the accessories I'll show off. I have a nice portrait of the Galaxy Megazord's head. No, wait. Astro Megazord, Galaxy Mega. Yeah, my name's confused. There's a QR code on the top for some reason. On this side, you got a nice picture of him reaching out to give you a hand. And the other side is some very nice artwork. Not only is this ZAP, but apparently it's Lightning Collection. And what is ZAP, though? Not only is it a tasty little acronym for Zord Ascension Project, but it's also the sound of this thing taking money out of your wallet. ZAP. Look. We slide. And we also have that same artwork, a fuller picture of him fighting Ecliptor inside this sleeve, where no one's ever really going to look at it. I wouldn't mind bonking myself, but also I wouldn't mind a portrait of that on my wall. I'm just not going to cut off the front of the box to do it. And then we have inside more sleeves. I figured out what this thing and Shrek have in common. They both got layers. I actually can't remember. How do you get it? With this panel that looks like inner panels of the actual ship itself. Like, I don't know, displays, things. You got mail. And inside is nothing because I've taken all the accessories out. Except for one small baggie right in here. This thing's about as hard to get into as the Parliament buildings. Much easier than you expect. But I have this tiny bag of things that I really don't want to take out and show you, but I'll show you the packaging. Since when did Lord Zed get into cartography? Or is that mapping? Printing press. When did Lord Zed get a printing press? But inside are 5 action figures. I scarcely call them action figures. More like inaction figures, because look how bloody small they are. So we have Andros right here. Everybody's favorite TJ, who's not named Omega. So everyone's second favorite TJ. We have Ashley, I think. I know she's yellow, so yeah. With a bit of paint chipping. Oh, that's not paint chipping, that's just dirt off my floor. Oh. Cassie. And Adam, no! AKA Andrew. Carlos. Oh my god, how did I screw that up? Carlos. And I'm gonna put them back in this because I'm worried I will inhale them. They're so small. And here it is. And look at the size of this big monster. Also, big ship, isn't it? Oh, this thing. Oh, hold on. Oh, look at it. It's so nice. For a size comparison, here's that aforementioned Tigerzord. That would be a hell of a crossover. The Tigerzord, you just see this barrel at you? I'd run away. Although the Tigerzord might just fall off. And, oh my god. Oh, it's hard to describe just the utter happiness this thing provides. It's just so nice. So this is not the first ZAP figure. This is the first one I own. But they've done a Dino Megazord, a Dragonzord, and then they did a black and gold Dino Megazord, which they sold as an NFT. One of the stupidest marketing decisions I've probably ever seen. It was either a pre-order that you could only buy as an NFT, or I don't know, that whole time period kind of just in one ear out the other, and just no. I'm sure there's some out there on the secondhand market, because I'm sure people got them and sold and were selling them, and like it's that's how I feel about just and honestly, I was kind of felt burned out for Mighty Morphin, or just Power Rangers in general, for quite a bit. I haven't been collecting the Lightning collection. That's not redundant. Recently, just because of all the errors and stuff, and just, I don't know, I needed something like this to make me go, I want Power Ranger toys again. Like, I want nostalgia. And oh, this gives you so much. I want to say bordering on almost too much. But we have to go over some features of this thing first. It's got twiddleable guns that look like they're off a Star Wars ship. And also, are blast effect compatible. Brand synergy by Hasbro? I never thought I'd see the day. These tail fins are movable for a reason we'll get into. It can roll very well. I don't think you're ready for this doo-doo-doo. Absolutely out of this world. On these big wheels. And also, you've got mail. The shield is under there. And unfortunately, one bit of kibble, the only bit of kibble I consider on this figure. The hands are right there. You can pop them off. They're just on ball joints. But like, I don't think the ball joints by themselves look any better. Nope, we're not transforming yet. Like, there. I don't know if that looks better or not. I'm just going to leave the hands on. Less chance for me to lose them. And, I love the rounded shape of it. Like, just these panels, but it makes it feel like a circle. Let's say you're not a fan of this big gap. There is, hilariously, a locking tab right there that you can flip out, and it stays locked. And oh, those are some solid clicks. Oh, and this thing is also littered with Astro features. So obviously the guns, the opening, the ship, like everything, but you can flip open this big red M, which is set to mini when it should be changed to W for Wumbo. You can flip it open, and you can see the Rangers piloting the mega ship. It's such an unnecessary, gratuitous feature. I love it. It gives me a real nice sense of scale for this thing. Like you can see, or you can imagine, where the Astro gliders or the space hoverboards, like somewhere in here, probably out the back. I can imagine where Zane's refrigerator is. Oh, I mean his life support machine. It's like, it gives me such a random kind of feeling when I open that. Like, I want to give you a second shot because it might have been hard to see. There you go. All 6 of them. Nope, sorry, 5. I forgot Zane's not in there. For more, it can just freaking sit there. For more fun, we come to this bundle of accessories, or this fundle. First off, we have the ship the Turbo Rangers used to flee the planet Earth. Now, you won't hear a lot of compliments to Power Rangers Turbo here, but one thing it did really well was the surprise climax and the emotional weight of that climax, of them losing their powers and having to flee because their mentors are gone. There's nothing they can do to stop Divatox. It's like, it really hits you. And you also have to remember, it's Power Rangers Turbo. But you gotta know, Zordon had this plan in his back pocket. Like, this is surprisingly capable of connecting to this. Like, he referred to Andros by name when he showed up to try and save him, and then not save him, even though he was in his full Red Ranger gear. It's like, I've even memed that scene previously. It's like, he had to have this kind of contingency plan to get the Nazda. There's so many off-brand NASAs, I can't remember every single acronym, to build this shuttle if the Power Rangers ever needed it. Because all Justin had to say was Zordon to the guy, and he just willingly, okay, you can have our ship, which included all of this. The main rocket, which thankfully does not look like it's made by Elon Musk. Now, I'm not going to go there. And these little side bits, which honestly I completely forget about until I got this. And they can come off because they're on little clips. They're just clipped in. Have a bit of motion. But we can store all of these on the megaship itself. So this one plugs into the shield nice and securely. These two plug into the sides because it doesn't really have wings, and I guess these can pass as additional thrusters for propulsion, because these back fins definitely don't give it flight. I get very big Another Happy Landing vibes from this thing if it ever actually tried to fly into a planet's orbit. And this, well, you already saw what we can do with this. So open up the... Oh, those are nice ratchets. And plug it in like it's Glade right there. And then it's a bit tight, much like your mom is. But then you can close it up. Now everyone's running around in here trying to flee Zane or trying... Not Zane. Zane's still unconscious. Andros. This point, this could be a running joke of how many times I can get their names wrong. Andros. They're trying to run from Andros or explain the situation to him. Episode 1. And that's not all the features, but that's all the exclusive ship mode features that I'm going to show off right now. Because next up, we have to get into robot mode. But also, I just want to talk about the heft of this thing. Like, it is 2 hands full. Like, it's not so heavy that it's unwieldy. It's like just enough in your hand to go, yeah. It's solid. It feels really good. Like, the plastic feels really good. But I may get my channel taken down for this, but I don't care. I'm going for it.
Let's blast off. Begin undocking procedures. Disengage and fire thrusters. Now! Alright, let's bring it around and lock them together. Begin docking. Astro Megazord, online. It worked.
This is so cool.
Look how friggin' big he got! Here's a size comparison for you. Damn. And that was a very show-accurate transformation. One thing I've never thought about, is where the tail fins actually go. That's really smart. Oh, this thing. So detail-wise, everything's the same. It's just shuffled around a bit. And suddenly he's no longer that round ship. He's a freaking massive bipedal robot. That's a dude in a cardboard suit. Canonically. Or uncanonically. Let's give you a shot of his head. It was on the box if you didn't catch it. Does anyone else see the fact that he's wearing the ship as a hat and a ponytail? I now can't not see that. And also, he's a headmaster. Thank you, Anthony Hopkins. So, the other selling point of the ZAP is to be articulate. Decently articulate. Let's see where we get off. A ball-jointed neck. That's crazy. You can go all the way around. Go up. I'd say that far before you pop it off. It's ball joint. This is the only Megazord that can ever look like that off to the side. You can look down that far. We're only at the first part of articulation, and it's already eclipsed every single Megazord that's ever existed. Also, you can scalp him, and you won't see his dirty thoughts. You'll see more Easter eggs with the Rangers now in his head. But that makes me think, who's in here now? Is it like early stage of the robot rangers they introduced in Lightspeed Rescue? Or is it the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles hanging out from that one episode? I don't know. Maybe it's the Psycho Rangers trying to attack the Megaship. Who knows? Also, can we give some credit to not Scorpina, what's her name? The main villain of In Space for actually shooting at the Megazord while it's transforming. I don't think anybody's ever done that before or since. And that scene goes to show you why, because it's got energy shields to block just for the transformation. Shoulders, Ratchet solo, then go all the way around. It's a shame they can't go out, though. The only way they can go out is like that. That's unfortunate. Although you can get an extra click if you rotate the elbow. Just for, I don't know what you need that for. Oh, there's a freaking butterfly shoulder joint. If you want to do a thing we'll show in a minute. Elbow proper is 90 degrees. Maybe 89 degrees. With this ingenious arm transformation, I can understand why there's not a double joint in there. There is two joints, it's just one goes out. Because the shoulder itself can't go out up here. The wrist on a ball joint. There is a goddamned ab crunch in a Megazord, in a Sentai mech, that actually reveals some, although a bit of hollowness, some sculpting in the back. Like, look at that. That's not even part of the alternate mode. Like, oh my god. I'm impressed as hell. Waist swivel, even. Waist swivel. Hips are the transformation, but they can go forward all the way. You can go back about maybe one click, that far, which isn't much, and it's the only real hindered point of articulation, sort of. I wish this panel could move out of the way, but the hips, how do we do on the Van Damme scale? Very good, given the criteria. Like, they can't go all the way out forward. You kind of have to rotate for the transformation. If you want all the way like that, even then, it's not. It's hindered slightly. But I don't mind it. Like, I don't see myself super wanting to pose him in a Van Damme between two trucks kind of pose. But you do have a Ratchet thigh swivel and a 90-degree knee. Also on Ratchet. Oh my. I want to say that's maybe 89 degrees. Maybe 88. Weirdly enough, on this one, it kind of rests here at a straight position. But on this one, if I put it on this click and just trying to keep it there, it has a weird tendency to just bend like that, so I have to kind of force the very last click just to get it stock straight. That might be with yours if you buy one, I don't know. Also, the feet. Now, they do have a bit of hollowness, which you can sort of mitigate by flipping out Oh, come on. That panel, which doesn't do much. It's kind of just closes up from the back, makes the back view all nice. But the feet, as in the transformation, have a toe joint. But let's say you're not satisfied with that. Well, you can pop out a full ball joint. Ball jointed ankle. Like, that has range to it. Like, I've been putting off this video because I've had this toy for maybe a couple of weeks now. And honestly, I kept putting it off because I kept finding new stuff about it without even looking at the instructions. It's just, oh, I don't like that the ankle's limited. Maybe let me mess with, oh, there's a ball joint there. Like, look how much massive foot range this ball joint gets. Mind you, it can't really stay positioned super well. But it can go there. I think let's not get to my final thoughts yet. Let's talk more accessories. Because everything's an accessory. So the shield has a transformation on its own. Ready? Yeah. Yeah, simple but effective. It's got a tab, or sorry, a slot for going into a hand, or these clips, which are part of how it stays on the shuttle, those middle, it can actually clip on to one of the wheels on either arm. And that's not a solid connection. It's a solid connection. It's just wobbly. And this is what I meant. Look, he can actually defend himself with his shield. It's a big shield, too. Like, it's fully blocking his face and everything. Like, I shouldn't be impressed by that, but it's Power Rangers, so I am impressed by that. And you thought we were done with this? No siree. It can become a gun with a very simple transformation. Reattach these, which I removed from his shins. There you have the gun he used in the show that I tend to forget he actually used a gun. And these are also blast compatible, and so is the barrel. You can actually shoot things. You can store it on the ship in gun mode. I just didn't want to show that off yet. I actually forgot that this formed his gun. I thought he just had a gun. But no, they actually use everything in this. But the one thing that doesn't have a place to go is the Astro Megazord. If that's not the name of it, that's the name now. Like, look at the size of that knife. Like, frick. Use it as a letter opener if it were actually sharpened. Also, you've got mail again. I like to imagine the mail is just the word "you died," and then when you open it, it's just a picture of you getting murdered by the Megazord. And what would a good Megazord be if he couldn't hold his sword? Well, that's what we have interchangeable hands for. Because this is an expensive piece. This is a adult collectible. So, of course, it couldn't have articulated hands. It has to have swappable hands. We're going to swap out both of his hands for right now. But we come to this baggie right here, which has two full pairs of interchangeable hands. So first off, we have the ones on the box art, the Give Me Your Hand, which are made of the same kind of squishy material that the hands were made of. And then we have holding things hands. And these are the ones we want. And it's a little bit awkward. I'm going to put him in his right hand. It's a little bit awkward to force the weapons into his hands. Like, it takes a little bit of force. It's a bit awkward. But once you get in there, it's a solid connection. And he has just enough range on the ball joint to slightly press the sword forward. Which isn't much, but it's just enough for dynamic swordsman poses. Also, the shoulders really help in the dynamic swordsman poses. Like, it looks like he's giving you a finisher. And we'll come to the other hand, and we'll give him his gun. Because he did occasionally use the gun in the show. I don't know if he ever actually defeated... Oh, that's an even tighter fit. Like, I have to slide it in. Oh, God, that was not a good click. Everything looks like it should be fine. And I knocked the shield off. Just great. Hold on, we'll put the shield back on his arm. But there you go. Full weapon integration. And, you know what? Let's just show you. You can put the shield in his hand either up or down. It doesn't matter either way. Like the handle will fit either up or down. There you go. Oh, this is absolutely a win. If you want final thoughts, don't set controls to outer space, set them to awesome, because that's what this thing is. Like, mind you, the most articulation we've ever had previous to this is this. That is it, a bit of that. This is the only Legacy Megazord I own. And this, for so long, was the benchmark of Megazord articulation. That's very sad. And a lot of the Lightning Collection, or Legacy Collection, Legacy, is going to cost you on the aftermarket around the same price as this guy. Just look at that. Very nice comparison as well. For my $200, this thing is worth so much more than this thing. I'm sorry, Daijujin, but I love you. What am I, Shawn Michaels or Ric Flair right now? I'm sorry. I love you. Super kick. But this thing just super kicks that thing out of the water. If you're a Power Rangers fan and you want an articulated Megazord, this is so much better than the horror stories I've heard over the ZAP Dino Megazord, which apparently has something like a 50-50 chance of breaking out of the box. The only slight issue you may run into are the hips. As Dawson mentioned. I have to shout out Dawson because it was his video that made me say, okay, I'm finally going to get this thing. So shout out to Awesome Rider, just because I can. But like as he mentioned, the hips, it's a very specific place they have to be, specific like way you have to rotate them, and it doesn't feel like they'll break. They definitely don't feel fragile. But I see that's where a lot of the stress may be, is you trying to rotate the hip and then rotate the thigh. I don't know if there's any die-cast metal in this guy. I don't think there is. He certainly isn't like die-cast heavy for this size. Like the chrome, I imagine, is just all plastic. It looks very nice. I hope he survives the ravages of time. There is a tiny bit of paint chipping on the tail fin, mostly on the... Oh, there is a tiny bit of metal in like the pins and the screws, but like no die-cast metal. What I'm saying. A tiny bit of... Also, this is hilarious and possibly undocumented. You can unplug his head and plug it back in there. So he can do whatever the hell this is. Even more neck articulation, I guess. I think he just went into depressed mode. Alright, let's get him out of there. But I absolutely love this thing. I have not stopped playing with it in the weeks I have it. It sits under my desk, and every stream I look at it and I just like, I want to play with it. Like, if I'm comparing Transformers, it's not the biggest toy I own. That would probably go to Omega Supreme, or maybe even Predaking. But this guy feels as solid as Omega Supreme, and he's not nearly as big. I guess you might want a size comparison, because it's the only other toy I have that's bigger. And he is a lot bigger, I'll give you, Omega Supreme. But, I don't know. This guy's maybe too big to consistently play with. And his alt mode is too vague. Like, I have to give it a lot of floor space if I want to transform him. But this guy, he's so compact in his ship mode that it just makes me want to keep playing with him. Now I need a Delta Megazord. Oh, god damn it, Hasbro, you did it to me. You got me hooked again. Which is also a shame, because after Cosmic Fury next year, or possibly at the end of this year, they're going on hiatus. As in, there'll be no new toys manufactured for 2024 outside of just the Cosmic Fury stuff that hasn't been released. I don't know. I don't know what Hasbro... They've even freaking sold entertainment rights. Not the rights to the Power Rangers movies, but like everything else in entertainment right, or E1. They've sold off most of the movie rights because they lose so much money by being dumb and not marketing Power Rangers how they should. Like, oh, I want a Delta Megazord. Like, I had bits and pieces of a Delta Megazord growing up, and I didn't truly realize was the Delta Megazord. And the little fingers that were modeled after the Dragon Sword and stuff. Like, I didn't have an Astro Megazord to combine him with, but now I need him. Now I need a Delta Megazord. And I realized this video was running on so long, but it's like, hey, do you want to listen to me gush about this thing for another half an hour, maybe longer? Because I can do it. I could just keep gushing about this thing because it's one of my favorite toys. Oh my god. One of my favorite Megazords. At least. Oh. I was hesitant to buy it, but I'm so glad I did. But I have no desire to go back and check out the ZAP Dino Megazord for reasons I've already mentioned. And also, they're massively out of scale with each other, which is hilarious. This thing is in a scale of its own in terms of Power Rangers Megazords. Oh. Astro Megazord. If only I could live in you. Let's remove his hair and let's scalp him. We'll see what his thoughts actually are. He's thinking I should end this video now. I agree. So, thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. And you need one. Maybe. If you want to spend $200, there are more articulate, let's say, action figures or transforming action figures probably on the market. Like the lack of outward shoulder range is the biggest pigeonhole on this guy. But if you can get past that, abso-freaking-lutely, yes, yes, buy him. He's worth it. Anyway, I'm gonna rocket away to bed before I continue to ramble. So, thank you for watching. Keep it more phenomenal. Bye. May Zordon protect us all. I don't know.